Good morning, everybody. I hope you're having a great Wednesday. We are looking at the fog having cleared through the area, and it's going to be another warm and muggy afternoon. We're going to talk about just how hot it gets, how long we keep these kind of temperatures going. We've also got a chance for some strong storms on the horizon. I'll first alert you to when we could see those, what kind of threats those will pose, as well as the big cool down you've likely heard about, when that kicks in, and just how cool it's going to be when we see that change take place in our temperatures. We got a lot to talk about. Let's go ahead and start right in on where we're heading by starting with where we are right now. And we've got just a few clouds that are in place right now. A lot of sunshine though. You can see the fog is pretty much gone at this point. 80 degrees where we're at. Notice that dew point in the low 70s. That's some pretty steamy air that is in place. That is going to be the case through the rest of today, where we'll hold on to that mugginess. A lot like yesterday, we'll be seeing a similar path for how the warming takes place. We've just even had a little more success at clearing away the fog at this point than we did yesterday. So we'll continue to step temps up, and by the time we get to the afternoon, I expect we'll peak right about 91. That puts us in the same ballpark as where we ended up yesterday, just a little bit above average for this time of year. And we'll be feeling some mugginess, maybe just a little bit better than what we had yesterday, but still plenty of it, and it will be enough when you factor in that mugginess with that temperature getting up to the low 90s, that heat index gets in the mid to upper 90s. So this afternoon, use some caution if you're going to be out and about, as we've been talking about for a little while. One more aspect I do want to mention, the pollen count, and we are looking at the weed pollen levels being quite a bit up there. Once again, those have gotten close to 200 with this morning's count. Ragweed, nettle, hemp, all big factors for us, so you may be noticing some symptoms as a result of that. All right, so you saw the sunshine that's in place and just the few clouds that are out there. Let's walk through the rest of the morning, and first alert you to just a small chance that we try to bubble up a couple of showers this afternoon, maybe a rumble of thunder with one or two of those too. You can see it pretty good here even as we're getting into the early afternoon, but see how we kind of bubble up this cloud cover as we get into the later afternoon and early evening. I think we could manage just one or two showers that maybe have some thunder with them. Brief pour down that could happen with those. I think most of us stay dry, but just giving you that first alert if you're planning to maybe pick the kids up from school or do any kind of activity outdoors during that maybe 3, 4, 5 p.m. time frame. You may start to see some of these drifting actually from the northeast to the southwest as the afternoon goes. So it'll be a little bit of a different storm motion if we do get those to develop. Watch for that as we get into the PM hours. You notice as we get past sunset, those go away, and we get a pretty quiet night for our Wednesday night. Then when we get beyond that, tomorrow, pretty quiet day all told. May start with a little bit of some fog around once again, and then we'll be looking at a sunny afternoon, right again near 91 degrees. We get to our Friday afternoon, maybe step it up just a touch, 93, the forecast high there. And you do notice we get a chance for some scattered storms to arrive in the forecast. That after 3 p.m. So here's a look at how this could play out. This is what the radar may look like as you're getting into the afternoon hours on Friday. You can see some of the partly cloudy skies that are around. Step this forward just a little bit, and you notice a couple of these that try to bubble up. These will be moving southeast as they progressed across the area. You see some of those that fire up. Could be anytime after 3 p.m. through the early evening. I think it's just a couple hour window that those sweep through. And then you can see how those continue to progress their way off to the south and east. And then I think we'll wrap these up not long after we get past sunset. With any of those that do manage to develop for our Friday PM hours, not all that concerned about any kind of tornado risk. That looks pretty low at this point. It would be gusts that could exceed 60 miles per hour and maybe some quarter-sized hail with some of these. It's a level 1 out of 5 risk. It's on the lower side, but it is something noteworthy to keep track of as we get into the PM hours for Friday. And I know a lot of people have plans once we get to Friday afternoon and evening. So keep that in mind if you are going to be out and about for late Friday. Now once we get past that and maybe a lingering shower early Saturday morning, then the changes really take shape that will lead to that cool down. Some almost fall-like air will be in place. Here's what it looks like. Anytime you're seeing the oranges, the reds, that's some very summer-like air that we're talking about. And you see that firmly in place today, tomorrow, into Friday. But notice that factor coming in from the north. We try to sweep in some cooler air behind that system. Anytime you're getting into those greens, the almost blues, that is some of that drier, more comfortable kind of air that we're looking at. And that's firmly in place as we get into Sunday, Monday, into Tuesday. We're still feeling some of that. We're kind of getting grazed by the edge of this. It really knocks the temps down across the Great Lakes. But we get enough of it that we can enjoy temperatures that may not get out of the 70s on a couple of days. And that'd be pretty welcome. As we get into the middle of next week, you can see that we start to bring some of those warmer colors back in, indicating a warm-up that does take place. And we'll have to see just how long that ends up remaining around. But note that change in the muggy meter. We're going from well into the muggy category. Saturday, as the day goes on, we'll see things dry out. You'll notice that if you're out and about. And then we get the very pleasant air in place for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. So that combination of cooler temps and drier air leads to this kind of temperature. We go from the 90s for today, tomorrow, and Friday to a bit of a breezy day on Saturday, but 82 with improving mugginess as the day goes on, right near 80 for our Sunday. And again, Monday, Tuesday, we may be in the upper 70s for those highs. And also look at those lows, low 50s. Be able to open the windows, get some fresh air in, enjoy the lack of mugginess as you're out and about. This is going to be some prime time weather that we're talking about as we get into the end of the weekend and the beginning of next week. Now, if you're a summer fan, it's not gone. You can see the end of the 10-day. We swing back into the 80s, so it will be going back toward that mode as we get toward that time frame. And do notice we've got our first Husker game on the 10-day. That at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. That's a 8 o'clock kickoff Thursday of next week. So we'll be continuing to keep you posted on the latest with that forecast. At this point, looking like we're starting that game in the 80s as that gets up and running. So it's that time of year, folks. We're getting into football season already, and we'll have a forecast for that. Any kind of outdoor events that you may be taking part in, of course, you can always keep up to date with that on the First Alert 6 weather app and our website, firstalert6.com. And our newscasts, which coming up in half an hour, Senior Chief Meteorologist Rusty Lord will have the latest on what he's seeing on how things are evolving with the temperatures for the rest of the day today, as well as what he's seeing with those storms possible by the time we get to our Friday. So I think with that, we'll wrap up. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. You're halfway through the work week, and I hope you have a great Wednesday.